Hey, I'm Melanie Duffins. I'm a leader in the nonprofit sector, and I'm also the founder of Breaker28.com. So today's episode is for all of you that are on the fence. You know it's time to leave your job. You've been knowing it for about 6 months, 8 months. I'm not judging. It is what it is. But you haven't taken any action. In my experience, being an HR leader and also just being a friend to very ambitious young women that sometimes have stayed at a job a little too long, here's what it's mostly come down to. First, either the person doesn't have clarity about what they want, or two, they do have clarity about what they want, but they're not sure they want to pay the price to get there. Or three, they do have clarity and they are willing to pay the price, but they're not confident enough. They're not sure they can actually do it. And so I want us to just spend a couple seconds in each of these areas to help you think through which of these buckets pertains to you, and maybe there's more than one. So in the clarity bucket, a lot of times when I'm talking to people who are successful in their job already, they're stuck. It's because they have really high expectations for themselves in terms of how clear they must be before they move on to their next job. They think they need to know their 5-year plan. They need to know what companies, when, at what level, what job. They need to have it all figured out. And that's crazy. So instead of that, what I propose is focus on right now. What do you want right now? What is your next move? What is your next career opportunity? And by making it a lot easier and a lot tighter scoped, you don't have to put as much pressure for it to be perfect. This is especially true if you've been at the same place for 8 years, 10 years, and it's a great place to work. There's a lot of pressure to make sure that the next place you land is better or equal, and that's really hard to do. So instead, what I'd say is focus on what you want to learn. Focus on what you want to experience. Focus on the level of the job that you're hoping to attain, whether that's managing more people, having more responsibility, trying a new skill, etc. And keep it bound in the short to medium term. The next thing, if you're one of those folks that struggles with clarity, is to use your resources, use your network, talk to people that are doing different kinds of jobs and learn from them. By doing that, you can get a little more clarity on what's interesting to you and what's not interesting to you. You don't have to tell them why. You don't have to say, I'm really lost career-wise. You can just figure out, how to have lunch with some people in your network that are interesting and accomplished and learn more about what they do. As a bonus, if you do decide to jump ship, you've got some people to follow up with who maybe can connect you to the right person at their company. The other thing I would say on the clarity front is sometimes you don't know what you'll like until you just get your hands dirty. Look at job descriptions. Look at what's open. Go on interviews. Even if you aren't ready to leave yet, just start to experience different kinds of jobs so you'll get a sense of what's interesting to you. So moving on, maybe you do have clarity, but I want to be a doctor and I don't want to go to med school, and so I'm just going to stay put. Understood. To someone like that, I'd say, well, is staying put serving you? Is it really? If you're unfulfilled, and you wouldn't necessarily be watching this video if you were super excited about what you were doing every day. Same as the person who struggles with clarity, don't make this more high pressure than it needs to be. Great people, smart people, find good jobs. Every day, it happens. Now, most people don't find the kind of jobs that light them up like a Christmas tree, let's be clear. But those of us that put the time in, many of us do. What's the point of setting an unrealistic goal if you don't have the will to complete it? Instead, why don't you chunk that goal and think about the first step, whether that's studying for the MCAT or whether that's just taking a job in the medical profession. Find a more accessible goal. Pursue that, and then level up to the next level toward the larger goal that you set. But maybe it's neither of those things for you. Maybe you're willing to pay the price, and maybe you are clear, but you don't have the confidence to move forward. And if that's you, I can really relate to what you're saying. And for me, one of the things that helped me to get confident was to realize I was putting people on all these pedestals that they didn't deserve. People are just people. Even if they're the president, even if they're the CEO of a company, even if they're a doctor, even if they're the career dream that you have, they're just people. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. And so one of the things I was doing that really slowed me down for years was thinking of myself as so small in comparison to people that I thought were so smart, so great at their job. And I forgot that they had to go through the season that I was in to get to where they were. Once I realized that, I became much more charismatic, much more approachable, much more comfortable in my skin, and I was able to take on these big jobs without fear. Don't disqualify yourself unnecessarily. Instead, invest that nervous energy into building the skills you need to stand out as you pursue this new career goal. So I'll give you an example. When I became an HR executive, I was not ready. No way was I ready. But every time I felt insecure about it, I just got better at what I did. I studied up, I read books, I took courses, I practiced, I built my network, I funneled that nervous energy into producing better results. And those results gave me the confidence I needed in order to move forward in my career. The other thing I would say is get an accurate perspective of what you bring. Remember your performance reviews. Remember the compliments you've gotten. Remember your results. And chances are you're undercutting yourself a whole lot. And find people in your life that will continue to champion you and show you who you are until you believe them. Was this helpful? I hope so. If it was, subscribe below and you'll get more videos from me aimed to help you accelerate your career.